Down near the
You're
bottom.
lucky
I
I
had to
got this
find
far.
mine.
Start video. Let's try that one.
Yay!
Right. I'm pretty surprised I'm even here.
Okay, I'm showing 8:30.
Good morning. I'm gonna call to order the Business Improvement District Advisory Board meeting on Thursday, February 3rd, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Today's public meeting will be conducted utilizing Zoom video communications. This allows the city to conduct essential business and comply with public health administration recommendations to protect the public and city employees to practice social distancing and limit exposure by not allowing in-person public meeting. To ensure that the public will be able to participate in our meeting, public comments can be submitted as live comments during the Zoom meeting and via email at publiccomment@cityofglendora.org. Again, public comment@cityofglendora.org. Right now, I'm gonna do a roll call.
So thank you, Chair. At this time, I would like to conduct an oral roll call and request that each board member respond with present when their name is called. Board Member Jarvis?
Present.
Board Member Klingler?
Present.
Board Member Nolan?
Present.
Vice Chair Hurth?
Present.
Chair Snyder?
Present.
All members are present. Thank you.
Don, would you please do the pledge of allegiance, please?
All right, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For
for
which
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
and
for all.
justice for all. Thank you. We are reordering the additions to the agenda. Does anyone wish to reorder or add to the agenda? Do I have a motion?
No motions needed since no one said no. You're welcome to move on.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I'm going to open to public comment. I'm going to invite the members of the public to address the Business Improvement District Advisory Board on items listed on the agenda. Announce the speakers are limited to 3 minutes, speaking once on both on and off the agenda items. This is your time to speak uninterrupted. Please address your comments to me, the presiding officer. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes. If you would like to request to speak, select the raise hand icon in Zoom before the close of the public comment period. You then will be called on when your turn is up to speak. Have any public comments have been received?
As of right now, we have received no emails. We have nobody speaking in the Zoom, so there are none.
Okay, so I'm gonna close the public comment period. At this moment, I would like to move forward and with the board statement reports. Please, first let me welcome Don Nolan as part of our board. Don, if you would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Don Nolan. I'm the owner of the Village Eatery here in the village, and this is my second time on the board. I was on, I don't even remember, quite a while ago, but I'm back again for some more.
Thank
Welcome,
you so
Don.
much, Don. Well, welcome, and we really appreciate your service, and all your great ideas are always like so good for our village. So thank you again for serving. And then at this moment, I would like to ask Board Member Jarvis if she has any statement or report.
No statements or reports.
Thank you, Kathy. Board Member Klinger.
No statements or reports.
Thank you. Vice Chair Hurd.
No statements or reports.
And thank you. And I don't have any statement or reports, so we're gonna move with the, gonna call on the statements from the Community Development Director, Jeff Kugel.
I don't think
no.
Jeff, oh, are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jeff, I didn't know you were here.
No statement this morning.
Thank you, Jeff. And then I call on the Housing and Economic Development Manager, Valerie Velasquez.
I will just add that I did receive an email a couple days ago just to kind of let the board know that one of the property owners in the village who has multiple tenants has made a request to the city to have extra patrols in the village due to kids that are kind of congregating and hanging out. So he asked that I just kind of mention to the board that he did make a request, and I know PD is going to look into, providing some extra time out there and see what they can do. But also he just wanted to bring it up to the board so that if anyone else is having issues and wanted to talk about it, maybe you bring that back at a separate date. We can't discuss it today, but I just wanted to share the email that I received with you all.
Thank you, Valerie.
Valerie, did you say the PD is going to be looking into?
Well, they did say they were going to go ahead and try to assign some time, but there's nothing confirmed as of yet. We just got this request a couple of days ago, so they are aware and are going to try to have someone out there.
Great, yeah, big issue right now, big issue.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good idea to include it on our next board meeting. Are there any other comments?
No other comments for me.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna move on to special items. I'm gonna invite the Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Josina to report.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Joe. I'm the President and CEO of the Glendora Chamber of Commerce. Just kind of wanted to go over a couple of updates here and then some upcoming events. Valerie and myself finished up the city grants that we were working on, which just want to let you know about 11 village businesses were able to take advantage of those. So I thought that was pretty successful. We also put out information that through the state operation of emergency services, we received a supply of KN95 masks, surgical masks, and hand sanitizer for if anybody wants any. I know we've passed some out to some village businesses here. We do have some more, and I'm supposed to be getting a lot more soon, but it hasn't arrived yet. But it'll probably arrive once they lift all the mask mandates. Then we'll have a whole bunch of stuff that people won't use. So, but anyways, we have them here. The chamber is working on a number of legislative issues. We have our legislative meeting today at noon. It is on Zoom, where our members can come and see what's going on and voice their opinion with things. There's a lot of things coming up, especially if they all qualify for the November ballot, that can really affect businesses through taxes, there's one that reduce plastic waste. So they're reduced all one-time use plastic products, which I know there's people on this call that use those, so it's just more taxes. So the more we're educated with that kind of stuff and help get the information out to the public, so we don't have to have issues with all these things passing. We are back into our live networking this month. We do have our coffee buzz tomorrow, 8 a.m. at the Exercise Coach down on Grand. And then we have a lunch at Misabor on Lone Hill next Thursday. So, and the lunch next Thursday, Glendora Police Department is going to be speaking regarding their their auxiliary program and stuff, recruiting people, see if they're interested in answering questions. So all are invited. The last several months, probably the worst time we can do this, but we were trying to work on 401k type plans, multiple employer plans provided through the chamber here. So far, unfortunately, we've been unsuccessful because it takes like $4 to $6 million in the existing plans to start one. So because the reason why we're doing that is all businesses, and this coming June, all businesses with 5 or more employees have to offer some kind of retirement plan by June 30th of 2022. Any business 50 or more have to offer them now. So we're still working on it, but there are other options. If you have questions about that, we can help you out. Or you have Edward Jones right here in the village, Doris over there can help you out, amongst others. So if you have any questions with that, let me know.
I have a quick question for
Sure.
you. Do you know with businesses 5 or more that have to offer retirement plans starting this June, you just have to provide a plan. You don't necessarily have to have a match. Is that correct?
Correct. You just have to have some savings vehicle, which the state has one, the Cow Saver, but there's a lot of other options. Yeah, you just have to have something for your employees, and they could even opt out for it, but you have to provide something now. So you match any of that kind of stuff is all up to you. Yeah. Then also, sure.
Sorry, just one question. Like when you say 5 or more employees, are those full-time employees or including part-timers?
It's just 5 or more.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't believe it has like 2 to 1 type of thing. I'd have to confirm, but I've only heard it's just 5 or more.
Okay, thank you.
And then finally, which we're going to have some presentations on this. You've probably heard of SB 1383, the mandatory commercial and residential organics recycling that the state put into place January 1st. The way we deal with trash has all changed, commercial and residential. We are working with Athens to do some presentations, but if you have any questions with that, you could contact Athens or the city or the city to do it, because things have changed and they're going to change with trash. So with that, unless anybody has any questions, I'll stop there.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joe. At this moment, I request a motion to file and receive the report.
I make a motion to file and receive.
I'll
I need
second.
a second. Thank you.
We have a motion made by Vice Chair Hurth and seconded by Board Member was it Jarvis?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I will now conduct an oral roll call to approve consent calendar item number 3 as presented. Board Member Jarvis?
Aye.
Board Member Klingler?
Yes.
Board Member Nolan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hurth?
Yes.
Chair Snyder?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And then now we are gonna present the minutes from the December 2nd, 2022. Is it December 2nd, 2022 or 21?
That's what we did under consent. So you're under board agendas items right now.
Okay, board
you take care of
agendas. Okay, very good. So is there any agenda items at the moment?
No, there's none.
Okay, are there any unfinished business items?
No, there are none.
Okay, then I'm gonna invite the Housing and Economic Development Manager, Valerie Velasquez, to report.
Good morning, everyone. So this is just an update, the regular update that we provide on the financial status for the BIDS finances. And in your packet with attachment A, you have the summary of the financial activity that takes us through December 31st, which is about 50% of the fiscal year. You'll see that the revenues, which are primarily the assessments collected, as well as a little donation for the Halloween walk and some interest, brings you to just under $25,000. And then you'll take a look at expenditures where you see holiday stroll expenses have hit, as well as some miscellaneous landscaping and again, Halloween costs. You're right under $28,000. So we are kind of where we typically should be for the year, knowing that typically a lot of the revenue for the bid comes from the Halloween walk and the wine walk and the Chalk Festival, which are yet to come and we'll be discussing later at this meeting. Overall finances are pretty healthy for the BID, and attachment B will include an itemized list of the expenditures where all of the money has been spent. So with that, that is your update. If you have any questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, this is a receive and file item.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Any questions? I don't hear any at this moment, so I'm asking for a motion to receive and file the report.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
I need a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Vice Chair Hurth, seconded by Board Member Jarvis. I will now conduct an oral roll call vote. Board Member Jarvis?
Aye.
Board Member Klingler?
Yes.
Board Member Nolan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hurth?
Aye.
Chair Snyder?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. At this moment, we're going to have a discussion on the Glendora Village events, and I'm going to invite again the Housing and Economic Development Manager, Valerie Velasquez, to report, please.
Okay, thank you. So as you mentioned, this is a discussion on the village events. As you're aware, there are several that occur every year in the BID that are part of the annual plan and included in the BID's budget. It's been a little bit difficult starting with 2020 with the social distancing mandates, and then, just moving forward into more recent times, just as far as businesses or volunteers that run the events, as they're dealing with their own challenges with COVID-19 in their own business, it's been difficult to get some volunteers to lead some events. So want to talk about some of those events that are coming up. For this year, we did have the Halloween walk, which was pretty successful, as well as the holiday stroll in the San and the Village. We did a small effort for the Small Business Saturday. Again, if you remember, we went ahead and contracted with our marketing consultant to make some efforts there, and she'll report on that a little later today as well. But moving forward, we have the wine walk and the Chalk Festival, and also the Friday night twilight. So each of these three events require a lot more coordination and time dedicated to getting the planning held for that. And so wine walk, there is a number of things that need to happen for that event. It requires a pretty good sized committee that is committed to taking on several different components, whether that's ordering the wine, getting the wine within budget, and talking with breweries and talking with the different merchants who are pour stations, and ordering supplies, and then marketing the event and coordinating the ticket sales. So there's a lot that happens before that event happens. And so we have a couple key members of that event that can't participate this year for their own reasons. And so we need to see if there's more available to go ahead and work on this event and kind of reach out. And again, it takes a real commitment to put on this event. This event is key in that it does generate revenue for the bid. This event generates about $40,000. The last time we had it in 2020, it was a little greater than that, and it cost about $20,000. So there is a net profit that adds to the bid's bottom line. So just things to keep in mind. Typically, this event is held in March. With the time requirements for this event, I don't think that would be possible, but the bid should go ahead and discuss this event, see if there's anyone else that wants to work on it, participate in it, and then maybe discuss a rescheduling of when this event would occur. Again, if it does not occur, you will see an impact to the BID's bottom line for their finances this year. The other event is the Chalk Festival. This one also requires time. This one also needs a new event chair to kind of lead the event. I did hear from Christina Keener with Top Billing. She was typically pretty involved in this event, and she oversees the talent show portion. She said she will continue to do that if we continue with this event, and she'll help out as needed as she can with other components. She's not too familiar with it. So with this event, as most of you are probably familiar, it entails selling different portions of the sidewalk so that kids and adults can go ahead and make some art with some chalk. So it requires, again, similar components. You need to have someone selling the squares. It also sells little sponsorship components. You need someone to deal with that, to get all the supplies in, market the event, and also oversee extras like the talent show, which we have covered. But again, this event is something that we need a chair, someone to lead it. And also this one typically happens in April, might be possible. We'd have to kind of visit that and see how aggressive someone wants to be with taking this event over. The budget for this one is $8,000, and it typically generates about $5,000. Again, that's from square sponsorships from businesses who sponsor each squares and the revenue from the sale of each square. So again, this is another one to talk about. And then Friday Night Twilight. This is an event that encourages businesses to stay open on Fridays. Usually it occurs from the last Friday in May throughout August. And it entails somebody kind of leading it and taking charge with bringing in either an entertainment or some kind of a family activity to occur within the village, whether that's in the plaza or spread throughout the different areas of the village. This event has $4,000 and is usually offset with sponsorships as well. So again, those are the three events that are coming up and need to be discussed. The BID can also discuss whether or not one of these events may be replaced with something new. Again, the key here though is that we need volunteers and people who are willing to devote the time that is required to go ahead and get these organized. You know, there are other options. If that's something that is a little bit difficult to do this year, you can choose to cancel the events. You can choose to perhaps look into getting an outside event coordinator. Just know that doing that, there's going to be a cost associated with that, and that might either drive the cost up for each of these events, or it may be, if you decide to move forward with the wine walk, that it takes a large portion of the revenue to do that. So again, these are all just kind of discussions that the bid needs to have. Again, key is these next three events and how you want to move forward with planning them, whether that is to reschedule, maybe if any of the bid board members want to take lead of any of them, but I will leave that up to you to discuss. So the recommendation again is to discuss the events and then again, decide whether or not you want to make any adjustments to the events, whether that's a cancellation or some kind of a reorganization of them and key lead players. So I'll return it to you guys to discuss. I'm here to work with you through it and answer any questions.
Thank you, Valerie. At this moment, I'm going to take questions and discussion from the board. Board Member Jarvis.
I was wondering if the previous chairs would be available for like consultation purposes, if like whoever was going to take over the event, they could, you know, go over like how they ran the event, like give some ideas to the new chair. I mean, is that a possibility?
Yes, that's something that's possible. And there's a lot of notes and forms and papers and documents that are kept and can be shared. And again, you know, just kind of given direction to the new lead as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Member Jarvis. Board Member Klinger.
I don't know if I have any questions. I think what Valerie said would be really wise if we considered bringing in an event coordinator. I think not only would that alleviate a lot of the stress on the business owners that are, you know, worried about managing their own business, but I think if someone was fully dedicated to the event, we could probably make enough additional revenue to pay for the event coordinator, and then some, and put on a really, really fantastic event for our community that'll bring in a lot of people to the businesses downtown.
Thank you, Matt. Board Member Nolan.
Yes, I kind of have to agree with what Valerie and Matt said there about looking at an outside coordinator just with everybody's time constraints these days. I think it would be worth it just to explore it and see what it would be, and possibly if there's any internships out there, anybody that might be interested in helping out like that, be something to look at anyhow.
Thank you so much, Don. Vice Chair Hurd?
I see Louise has her hand up. Are we supposed to answer that now?
Unfortunately, no, because it's
Okay.
not public comment, so it's only
Okay.
the board members can speak right now.
Okay, got it. Okay, so just throwing that out there. And then as far as the events, I mean, definitely Wine Walk is not going to happen in March. I mean, I've been the co-chair of that for the last 3 years, and it, like Valerie said, takes a ton of work. We do have a couple of people who were involved in the past who have said that they would be involved again this year in their capacity. So everybody kind of had their roles. But we did lose a couple of key members. And so we would definitely need to get some volunteers. I'm not sure about that event, getting an outside person, just because it is turnkey. If we can just get a couple more people in to fill some of these holes, it's a pretty turnkey process, really. But the others, those are the one, well, back to the Wine Walk, I think we definitely need to move that back, and we can look and find out what the other cities in the area are doing for their dates, if we decide to proceed with that, so that we don't get in the mix of theirs. But then as far as the other events, the Chalk Walk, yeah, Jonathan ran that, and I know he's got impeccable notes probably on that he could share. And then the Friday Night Twilight, maybe we either do bring in an event, or maybe we just change that up a little bit. There was the work that was done on that was quite tedious, and there was a lot of creating of coupon books and that type of thing. Maybe we'd bring it up a level and make it more something that's just for the good of the village. Maybe we do some music in the bus station, things along those lines that's not quite so onerous on running around to every business and finding out what their discounts are and putting things together. Maybe it's just more higher level. Let's try to find some ways to drive people to the village and let each business handle their own promotion from that. So those are just kind of my initial thoughts on that.
Thank you, Vice Chair Harris. Is there another comment? Okay. My opinion would be, I do agree with Board Member Nolan and Board Member Klinger in regards to bringing a event coordinator. That'll certainly alleviate like a lot of the stress and everything from business owners. I personally have tried to do that in the past, and it's like a lot of responsibilities, and it requires a lot of time, and sometimes it's just not fair not to be able to dedicate the time that these events need to be successful. So Valerie, is there possibility to look into that and ask for bids and invite some event coordinators to see where we're at and bring that up in the next meeting?
Yes, we can go ahead and look into seeing what that would cost. Now, are you saying, I know Jenna mentioned the wine walk, that might be possible to handle internally. So are we talking about for the wine walk Friday night and chalk, or would it just be for the Friday night and chalk? And I guess, Jenna mentioned there are several people who can still work on it. We just would need a few more. And so I don't know if anybody else is willing to dedicate some time to moving forward with the wine walk. I think that it may be difficult to go ahead and solicit some requests for an event coordinator and then by the time we would select one and then have them start the wine walk process, I don't think that would give them enough time to have it in this fiscal year. So my question is, in that case, would we consider not having a wine walk before July 1st, or are other people willing to assist with the wine walk?
In my opinion, I think now that we have Coco Vino here, it would be a great opportunity for them to, I don't know if we can reach out to them. Obviously, they do have the resources, the knowledge, and the connections to to help out, but I don't know if they would be willing to do that. Is there any way that we can possibly contact them and see if we can manage the wine walk internally? And then change the date, to a later date. I agree with Vice Chair Harris and checking the calendar with the cities around us to see their calendar. Can we look more into that?
Yes, we can do that. So I will check, and I guess I will report back next month as to whether or not we have additional support for the wine walk for the organization. If we do not, then is the instruction likely that it just will not occur this year? I guess I need to know this as we move forward because it does impact the BID's budget, which we're going to be getting into next as well.
Okay, so let me go ahead and ask Board Member Jarvis, what is your instruction in regard to the wine walk? If we are moving forward, moving the date, or what is your opinion in that?
I was going to suggest also that we talk to the wine store here in the village to see if they could help out. If there's anything that I can do to help out, I mean, I don't know anything about wine or like, I haven't been involved in the wine walk before. But if you guys need extra help, I'm more than willing to, I mean, it's coming up next month. We should really kind of throw, if it doesn't work out this year, if we don't make the money that we did last year, then we can always hire an event coordinator for next year. But I feel like we should, try to get it done and get it going if it's possible.
Basically rescheduling, is that where your suggestion, and then you would be willing to be part of it?
If we don't have to reschedule, I mean, that's better because we have other events coming up later. How do we fit that into, all the other things that we're doing? But, I'll leave it up to the board to decide.
This is Jana. I can tell you, there's no way that's going to happen in March. I mean, it takes months of planning. And so
I agree.
if we started now, I think for
May or
February, I mean,
June.
the soonest it would be sometime in April and then possibly even May. And that's
Right.
still probably a push, but we could probably, I think we could swing May. May would be tight. April would be tight.
Any recommendations, Valerie, in terms of date?
No, I agree with Jana. I think we need to look and see what the other cities are doing, make sure we don't have any conflict with events that are occurring outside. But in terms of just the planning, I think late April may be possible, but again, that all just depends on how much time the volunteers we get are willing to commit to make things happen. And so if we don't have people that are willing to aggressively get this event coordinated, then we're probably looking at, I would say, more comfortably a late May.
Late May, okay. So then we will look into this. You will help us to look at if there's any other possibilities in terms of Coco Vino or other people being willing to participate, and as well, in terms of the cost of the event coordinator, do we have enough time if we do it late May? Is that possible? Should we do that for the next meeting? Can you look into that?
I could look into seeing what an event coordinator would cost for the 3 different events. And again, see if kind of work on whether or not we can do it internally, as well as what an event coordinator would charge, and bring it back next month.
Okay, so I think in summary, like then Valerie will look into the things that were discussed. Are there any other questions or comment, Board Member Klinger?
Actually, before you guys comment, just a little bit more clarification. So if anybody wants to comment. So what I'm hearing is that we do want to move forward with the wine walk, kind of find additional support. I know Jana will help. Kathy has offered to help, and there's a couple others who will help with certain portions. Either we might need 1 or 2 more people to get on board. But what I'm hearing is that you do want wine walk to occur this fiscal year.
Is that correct? Let me just ask one by one. Board Member Jarvis, can you respond?
Yes.
Board Member Klingler?
Yes, I would love to see the wine walk happen. I'm happy to give input, direction. I do not have the capacity to volunteer on a large scale at this point.
Thank you, Board Member Klingler. Board Member Nolan,
Yes, I would like to see it move forward if at all possible.
Vice Chair Hurd,
Yes, I would like to see if we could pull it off. And once we get some definite dates, I think I'd like to put it out to the members of the memberships in the bid and see if we can get some volunteers possibly from them as well.
okay, I do agree. I agree with all board members. And then also I would like to I volunteer, not in full capacity, but I would like to be able to help as well. Are there any other recommendations at this moment, Valerie? Do we need to discuss the other two events?
No, my direction from what I gather is to go ahead and see about finding out how much it's going to cost to bring in an event coordinator. And I guess we'll go ahead and bring that back to you next month. Again, that just means we may have some push a little bit on maybe the Chalk Festival. But I think I have enough information to go ahead and come back next month to you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Are there any staff recommendations? Do we file and accept and file this report, or do we need to do a different motion?
Do you want to put the motion as to move forward with the wine walk event for this fiscal year and bring back for next month to hiring an event coordinator? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so then that would be the motion. Do I have a first motion?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Who was the second?
All of us. I'll take it. I'll be the
Okay.
second.
Thank you. So we have a motion made by Vice Chair Hurst, seconded by Board Member Klingler. I will call for an oral call vote. Board Member Jarvis?
Aye.
Board Member Klingler?
Aye.
Board Member Nolan?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hurst?
Aye.
Chair Schneider?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And then now we're going to review the Glendora Business Improvement District Board adopt budget for the fiscal year 23. And I would like to invite the Housing and Economic Development Manager, Valerie Velasquez, to report.
Thank you. Lorena, can we move to the next slide, please? So just as a reminder why we do this so early, I know this starts in July and we're only in February here, but the budget is part of as one of the components of the annual report that we are required to prepare each year. It kicks off the start of the renewal of the assessments that the BID members pay that go into the BID budget. And so this is part of the annual report. It will be brought back to you next month and then to council later in March, at which point they will go ahead and adopt a levy of intent to collect assessments in the next year, and notice will be given out to the bid. And then there'll be public hearings later in May, I believe. So that's why we start this budget process and review early. This budget was actually already adopted and approved last year by the City Council as part of their 2-year budget. But at this time, you have the opportunity to review it and make any adjustments as you see appropriate. So next slide, please. So the budget is composed primarily of your 2 components, your revenues and your expenditures. The revenues come from the assessments. And I will just say that the way the budget is prepared, there are no changes presented, which means if you are a bid business that pays $600, it will continue to be $600. If you pay $200 or whatever the amount you pay is, it will continue. There are no changes proposed. Revenue, so it comes from assessments, it comes from event revenue, and then there's interest and miscellaneous income sometimes. And then you've got your expenditures, which are primarily events. And then you've got a large portion going to marketing. You have beautification for the landscaping. And then there's miscellaneous charges, which include a storage unit, music in the village, and other items that come up unforeseen. So next slide, please. So just to kind of, again, show you kind of an idea of what the fund balance is, kind of the overall health of the BID budget at the start of this year, which was July 1st. So at the end of June 30th, 2021, the BID's fund balance was 116,487. And we take a look at what we expect our revenue to be, take away the expenditures, and there's a typo there. That projected fund balance is supposed to say June 2022. That would put you at 112,787. I will say again, this was based on a status quo year, so meaning we do have the wine walk. That makes a big difference. If we didn't, then that bottom number would likely fall to around 92,000. Next slide, please. So this is a look at the adopted budget, which is on the left in black. And then on the right, there are adjustments. Most are the same. The only adjustments you'll see is on the assessment, that 52.2 changed to 53.4. This is based on 100% collection of the actual business database. So it's different because we have a little bit of a different business mix in the village as opposed to when this was prepared early last year. So it's slightly different. And then the other change that you will see over in the expenditures is the BID board did choose to raise the Halloween budget a little bit as they're trying to expand and bring in a few different components. There was also revenue that was generated to offset. I did not include it on that on the revenue side, but it is included in that interest income, which is also a miscellaneous. So we'll see if that continues to grow, and we'll add that to the next budget. But you'll see that the adopted or adjusted, whichever you look at in both cases, it is a scenario where the revenues exceed the expenditures. So you're in a healthy spot. And again, this is, again, looking at making sure we do have that wine walk, we do have that chalk festival, and all of the events do occur. So you're free to discuss after I finish whether or not you want to make any further adjustments to this. But the recommendation will be to adopt as adjusted. And recommend that to City Council and bring it forward as you see here in the annual report next month. Next slide, please. So this is, again, taking a look at that fund balance, which is what you have in the BID finances at the end of each fiscal year. So the first two lines are actual. It's from June 30th, 2020. The BID had 98,987. Last year, it closed at 116,487. This year, assuming we do have the wine walk, it will be at 112,787, and next year, 113,987. So very healthy. The recommended minimum that the council requests is $10,000. So you do see that right now the balance is projected to continue to be in excess of 100,000. So I mentioned this to you because the BID the board does have the opportunity to make changes. I mean, we do have a large sum of money here. It's been here now for a few years. And so, you know, there's the possibility of discussing whether or not you want to perhaps make an adjustment to the assessments if you did want to reduce any for 1 year. Or you could use this money to possibly do some kind of a capital improvement project in the village, whether that is you want to increase the maintenance or the beautification, do something with the landscaping. You know, maybe there's something you want to do with, you know, installing Wi-Fi village-wide, or, you know, the city is making a large investment with the parklets that they have, and they're continuing to do more Mita as well as the bus plaza. So that money may want to be discussed in you know, doing something to enhance those improvements and doing something a little bit more. So I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of what your fund balance is and what you possibly can do with that, and not necessarily need to be decided today, but something that can be brought forward. Next slide, please. So just in conclusion, today we are I'm asking the board to go ahead and discuss the budget, take a look at the adjustments that were proposed. They're very minor, and discuss whether or not you see any further adjustments need to be made. Next March 3rd, the next BID meeting, we'll go ahead and bring back that budget with any of your recommendations and include that in the annual report. And then that annual report will be submitted to council for their approval, and then an adoption of a resolution of intent to levy assessments. March 28th, that notice mailing will go out to all businesses. And May 10th, there will be a first public meeting for any public comment from businesses. And then May 24th, City Council will hold the second public hearing, where if there is any protest votes, those will be tabulated as well. So next slide, please. So the recommendation again is for you to review that adopted budget, discuss and instruct for any adjustments, and then instruct staff to return next month with the annual plan and the budget included as well. And that completes this report.
Thank you, Valerie. At this moment, I open for questions and discussion from the board. Board Member Jarvis?
I would like to add, since we do have some money to spare, maybe hiring added security for the afternoons when school is out, so that we don't keep having problems with the kids downtown. Maybe that's a temporary fix for a little bit. If we could look into seeing how much that would cost, I'm sure that would be appreciated by the businesses down here.
Is that not something that the police department would handle? I'm just curious. I don't want to step on their toes.
Well, I mean, I know that if we had our own security down here, I don't think that would step on their toes, but it would give them the freedom to take care of more important things.
Totally.
I know they have been getting a lot of calls lately. I have talked to several of the businesses down here, and it has become quite a problem.
Any recommendations, Valerie?
I don't know if I can get an estimate on how much something like that would cost by next month. I think I'd also probably need some more information as far as how much time you guys are actually requesting, and if this is periodic, if this is all year. I don't know if the budget would allow you to do that. It seems to me, just top of my head, like it would be a very expensive request. But I think I need more information as far as what exactly you guys are looking for.
Thank you. Board Member Nolan?
Yeah, the one item that kind of interested me is when Valerie mentioned having Wi-Fi down here. I think that would be kind of have that throughout the village, especially now with, like she was saying, with the bus plaza enhancements and the Mead Avenue bus or area enhancements. Also, that would just be an added enhancement for people as they're sitting out there enjoying the area. That would be something to look at, I think.
Thank you. Valerie, does the chamber have a program like that already in motion, or do you know anything about that?
Well, Joe's on the line, but I don't think they have a program per se. I know that he forwarded a solicitation that we received with kind of an estimate, and I know our folks here, our IT also can provide some kind of an estimate as to what that would cost. And roughly, I know our IT, I talked to him very briefly and didn't get too much detail because I wasn't sure if it was something the BID wanted, but I think the initial investment for something like that would be, I think he's mentioned ballpark, maybe 60 to 80,000 for the infrastructure.
Thank you, Valerie. Vice Chair Hurst?
One thing that's been brought to my attention is the wires across the avenue that hold the banners. I'm not sure if this is when I would bring that up, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. They've frayed, and so now they're having a hard time. They can't actually pull the banners across the wires. The wires need to be replaced. So there's a cost involved with that, and I know the Andrews manage a small account that basically pays the guys to hang the banners, but at this point, since the banners can't be pulled across, they actually have to use a boom truck to do that. So I don't know if we want to help subsidize the cost. We've never been charged, the bid has never been charged to put up any of our banners on that wire. And I think it's about $75 or $100 every time somebody wants to hang a banner. But we've never been charged in all these years. So I don't know if we want to subsidize or if there's discussions of maybe relocating it and having the city run that. But if we've got extra funds to be able to get that fixed, because right now there's a number of entities that want banners hung for various reasons and we can't get them up there.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hurd. Any recommendations, Valerie?
I think this is for you guys, something to discuss and whether or not that's the direction. All of the recommendations that you guys are giving, that each person has given, this is something for you guys to discuss and then direct me as to where you want to go with it. I think it's not my call to say what you do. You guys can discuss this.
I have a couple thoughts.
Okay.
First thought, I think having cash in our account is a really healthy and good thing, and allows us to jump on opportunities as they come. And then second thought would be, I think it would be wise for us to leverage the money that we have to bring in even more revenue and like hiring someone to manage these events and make them significantly bigger and bring more people into downtown. Because frankly, all of us have full-time jobs and then some. So if we could use some of that extra that we have and leverage it to make these events better, I think that would do the third thought that I have, which is I think we want to do a project or do something that's going to make it very apparent to the businesses downtown that they're getting a lot of value out of their bid membership. Because I've heard from talking to other business owners that, you know, they pay $600 a year for their bid membership, and they want to feel like they're getting value from it. And so if they know that the events that we put on are put on by us and they're great events for their businesses, I think there's going to be no question that they're getting value.
Thank you, Board Member Klinger. What would be the recommendation for the staff? Board Member Jarvis?
Do we have to pick something right now?
No, you guys don't have to pick anything. Like Matt mentioned, I was just giving you guys an update as to what you have available. If there's no real consensus as to what you want to do, no, you don't have to make a decision to do anything with that funds. They can stay there. You guys can bring it back at a later, if sometime during the year you have a strong urge to do some kind of a project, or there's something you see that needs to be done, one of you can make a request to do it then, and you have to get support from another board member, and then we come back and we research and we bring it back to you. So no, you don't have to make a decision on that money now. It was just for your information. The recommendation though is to go ahead and give me direction on your actual annual budget, which is the breakdown of your expenses for the year and the revenues, so that we can put that into the annual report. Which, Lorena, can you go back a few slides to where I have the two tables so they know exactly what we're looking at? That one. So this is really what I need your recommendation for, is do you need to make any adjustments to the line items here? Again, as I mentioned, there's very minor adjustments on the light blue right columns here. This is what will be included in your annual report. And this is what we're asking you to approve as adopted or adjusted, or with any other further adjustments you would. This is separate from the 112,000 fund balance you have.
Thank you for the clarification, Valerie. Board Member Jarvis, any adjustments to the budget or? Board Member Klingler?
Didn't mean to click in early.
Nope. Only thought is that we should hire someone, but sounds like that doesn't need to be included in here.
Right, what we'll do is, I'll come back next month, and there's some funds in the miscellaneous account that aren't being fully utilized because we had said we were gonna actually bring a new event this year. But again, that's just been difficult to continue with what we have. So a new one hasn't been brought in. So if that's something we want to do, we may be able to just use some of those funds with board approval to go ahead and transfer that line item into an event coordinator. But we'll talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay, so we'll talk about that next meeting. So like I do agree with Board Member Klingler. And so then now it's just a matter of reviewing this and then if there's any adjustments to this. We do not have to add the event coordinator on this
No.
item.
This is
correct?
for next year. So that's this year. This is next year.
Okay, so for next year, perfect. I hope it clarifies for everybody. Board Member Nolan?
I would say accept it as presented.
With the adjustments?
Yes.
Okay.
Vice Chair Hirth, any other discussion or questions?
Valerie, just a question. If we find an event person and we get some of these events in this year for this fiscal year, then that doesn't impact this. We would just add.
Well,
them
no,
to-
that is a good question because yes, it will impact you. So if that's something you want to do and you guys want to say, you know, our events, and I probably should open my spreadsheet separately, cost us, oh, actually I do have it in my report. I think it's 57,000 is what your events cost. We want to put 10% of that towards an event coordinator or whatever the number is, whatever you guys decide is a number that you'd be comfortable with. But you can go ahead and add that number. What it will do is if you don't reduce the budget of each event, so in other words, we're putting 20,000 into Wine Walk, we want that number to absorb the event coordinator costs, or we want to increase it, or we want to put a separate line item for an event coordinator altogether. So there's different ways of doing that. Does that make sense? In my mind, it does, but I can make sure you guys understand what I'm saying.
So we wouldn't
think we
do it
should add a
per
separate-
event. We wouldn't add a event coordinator.
You
line
can
to
add
it.
it for an event coordinator. So this is how much we want to pay to do all of our events or whatever events they can do within this budget. Or you can have it so that each event within itself has to be able to cover an event coordinator, however you choose to do it.
We just don't, the challenge is we don't know what those costs would be looking like right now.
Right. That's why I
We
said
don't-
if you wanted to say, you know, maybe, I have no idea, to be honest with you, what an event coordinator costs.
Right.
So,
They roughly, I mean, I'm in the event business, so they
Right.
roughly, their fees roughly, they start at $100 an hour and up, but then when you have a package and everything, it totally completely varies. So do we need to look into that, but like just add another line where it says that we would like to have an event coordinator? Like, do we add that to the budget?
you can do that if you want to say we're willing to spend 10,000 or whatever that number is. I don't
I
want.
mean, is it usually, Delilah, is it like usually a percentage? I mean, what did you say, 10% of the event costs or, I mean, when it
No.
all comes down to it, no?
No, they usually present you with a package or they charge you by the hour. So I think for these events, it would be just more like a package. And we would definitely need to talk to somebody, you know, like to have different bids and everything, but we can assign an amount. And then hopefully it'll be within that budget, whether
Or-
it's the $10,000, including all events.
Why wouldn't we budget it by each event?
Yes.
Make it a
Right.
cost of each event.
Right.
And now, if we don't use that person for every event, you don't have just a blanket number out there, but it goes towards the cost of the event, of running the event.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Can
Mhm.
we do that? Can we add that, Valerie?
Right, that's why I
For
was
event?
saying, that's what I meant by when I said each event budget
Mhm.
itself would absorb the cost. So that would be either as presented or you would increase each of these event budgets. And just knowing that will put you above your revenues. So you'll be spending more than you're generating, which council typically doesn't like, but you do have a pretty healthy fund balance. And you know, with COVID, you have had struggles, so we'll need to present it to them. But you will be spending more than you're bringing in.
So in theory, for example, the wine walk, we basically just, our revenues go down some, because we make money on that one. The Chalk Festival, it costs us money. The revenues are less than the expenses on that one. So basically the expenses are going up on that one. Is that what you're? Yes, so now we say our expenditures.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it real simple. So if you were to you know, increase your expenses, I don't know, 10,000, I'm just nice, easy number, then you guys would be spending 108,000, but only bringing in 100,000. So you're negative in a sense.
But if we took that 84 from miscellaneous, right?
Well, the 8,400 is, you guys spend that on other things, whether that's storage or.
Oh, I thought that was for the other event we didn't bring in. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
No, that was for this year. For this year, that number is much larger. It's been brought back down to its normal.
Got it. Okay.
I have to head out at 9:30 for an appointment. I have one last thought. Are we okay to assume that we're going to make more money with an event coordinator helping us to make the events better and more widely publicized?
I do agree. Yes.
I would hope so.
Yes.
I think that would be the goal. That would be a requirement.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
before board member Klingler goes, because we do need to accept this file and accept this make this motion. Do we agree that we want to include a portion of a budget towards the event coordinator?
Yes.
Yes.
I still think that we accept the budget as it is, and with the event coordinator money will come out of whatever is budgeted for that event. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Board member Nolan?
Yeah, I agree. That's the way I would do it also.
I agree with board member Jarvis and Klingler. So how do we do it at this moment?
Okay, so do you guys, why don't you guys just tell me what you want to do? Do you guys want to raise, you know, and is it for all of the events? I think holidays, well, Jana, I need a little input from you. Halloween walk and holiday stroll, do we need a coordinator for that?
Halloween walk, I don't think so, although I won't be doing it this next year, so I can't say for sure. But I don't think so. It's not that cumbersome. Stroll, you and I kind of ran that last year. I mean, unless it was going to change dramatically, I would say probably not. If we get somebody who can, besides you and me, to just help out a little bit with it. I think it's really more the Chalk Festival, if we decide to proceed with that, wine walk, and the summertime, the Friday night twilights.
Okay, so the three that we discussed. So do you guys want to just increase that budget by 10%, 15%, 5%?
For each
Or leave
one?
it as is, or leave it as is. That's what I need to know.
I would
Board member
propose to
Jarvis?
increase them all
Each
by
event.
50%.
You want to raise them all by 50%?
That would be my suggestion.
I don't know that we're gonna get that approved. I really don't. I mean, I was pushing, thinking 20% was pushing it. And you were talking about each individual item, of those three, right?
Well,
Just
that would be $16,000. For 10,000 for the wine walk, 4,000 for the Chalk Festival, and 2,000 for Friday night.
Is the Chalk Festival, did Christina say that she was willing to be the chair for that event?
No, she said she would handle the talent portion, which she typically did, and she would help out as she could with other components, but not to run the whole thing.
And the lion's share of that work is the other piece, is basically all the
Right,
other
dealing
stuff.
with all the squares, the
Right.
square sponsors and each individual square applicant, and getting everything taped off, and yes.
Due to the time constraints and everything, I would say that three of us were agreeing on adding to the budget. So how do we proceed from now to
You guys
final?
discuss how much that Matt threw out a number. You guys discuss what number you want to increase it by.
I think 50% is a little bit too much. I think maybe 20% at the most.
I agree with 20%. Jana,
I agree.
Board Member Jarvis.
I still say we stay the way we are.
Okay, Board Member Klinger.
Yeah, I'm fine with 20%. That's gonna move this
Okay.
conversation forward.
Yeah, I do too. So I need a staff recommendation. Is it the time to make a motion to adjust the budget, the 20%, and is that correct?
Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of say what we need. So what I'm hearing is you guys will make a motion to go ahead and approve as adjusted with a 20% increase to the Wine Walk, Chalk Festival, and Friday Night Twilight.
Correct.
Lorena, are you good with that?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
Do we have a motion on them?
Motion.
Make a motion.
Heard
Second.
Klinger first. Oh, okay. So was it Jarvis first or was it Jana?
Jana.
Perfect. So we have a motion made by Vice Chair Hurst, seconded by Board Member Klingler. I will call a roll call vote. Board Member Jarvis,
Nay.
Board Member Klingler,
Yes.
Board Member Nolan.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hurst,
Aye.
Chair Snyder.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
All right, I gotta go. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you next month.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. At this time, I invite the board members and staff to make closing comments. Board Member Jarvis.
I think we're missing one.
Oh.
We have a quarterly update.
Oh,
Oh,
yes, please, yes, the number 7, the quarterly update on the marketing metrics for the Glendora Village.
And
I
we will have,
invite Micmac Agency, Micmac Agency Louis Brewer to report.
Good morning. Okay, I'm going to get right to it. If you can go through the next slide. Okay, so these are the metrics for Instagram, Facebook, and our website from October 1st through December 31st. I'm not sure if you've been able to see the October numbers in terms of like the October baselines, but I'm just going to go through some metrics here and then leave open for any questions or need for any clarification at the end of it. Please note, I'll say it at the end. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so for both Facebook and Instagram, we post 5 days a week. We also post multiple stories, like 5 to 7 stories a day, meaning whatever we see is happening in the Glendora Village, we reshare that content. So for Facebook, over the past 3 months, from October to December, we generated 67,909 impressions and reached 44,513 people. The community size so far is 4,055 page likes. Total engagements on our page for Facebook is 3,153, and total likes on a post is 1,134, and total comments was 97. On Instagram, we generated 325,497 impressions over the past 3 months, 107,692 unique organic reach over the past 3 months, 4,351 followers, and an average of 2.65% engagement per post. We've received a total of 6,391 likes on each post that we posted and 222 comments. So our total is an average of 20 posts per channel, 393,406 impressions across the board, and 152,295 people reached across the board. And we have a community size right now of, followers, likes, 8,406, and then 7,525 post likes and 319 comments. Our website visitors in the past 30 days, because that's all the data that I was able to get, is 1,121, and we're in the 98th percentile in terms of top performing sites. Next slide, please. This is a visual representation of our reach for Facebook and what when it spiked up in terms of reach. So you'll see between November 5 and 15, we had a spike up. Between November 25 and December 5th, we had a good spike. Next. On Instagram, I also break it down. You see that, it increases throughout the months, October, November, December. So that's just what it looks like when it goes up and down. It's a steady increase in terms of followers. Impressions and reach change depending on the post itself. Next slide. In terms of the visual representation for the website spikes, we had 856 visitors in October, 1,032 in November, and 1,285 in December. Next slide. In terms of what people were searching for, they were searching for Glendora Village, a mall near me, malls near me, and Glendora Mall. So, it seems like people were searching for shopping phrases during the season. Okay, let's go on this summary. So from our baseline in general, we've had an 11% increase of engagements. We've increased 29% in impressions and a 125% increase in reach. We've accumulated 92 likes on Facebook and we've lost 22 likes on Facebook. As of 1/5, we had 4,005 likes on Facebook and 4,238 followers on Facebook. In Instagram impressions, we've also increased impressions by 36%, increased reach by 4%, increased followers by 9.29%. I wanted to note that these are highly dependent on events and what's happening in the Glendora Village. So whenever something is happening in the Glendora Village, that's when engagement spikes because, aside from people get excited about these things. So of course, like one of our top performing posts was when we brought back the Halloween walk. I think that was the most engaged post we've had to date because we were bringing something exciting. I think about like 600 likes on the Instagram post itself. So just something to note, these numbers will probably fluctuate January, February, March, just because we don't have anything going on. And right now we're just doing, regular marketing efforts, marketing the businesses, whatever we're sharing that's happening in the Glendora Village, trying to get whatever promos we see, trying to, capture the life in what we see in Glendora Village. So these metrics will change and I know they will decrease, and I'm just being super candid, just because there's no events and events are what drives engagement for the Glendora Village. In terms of key metrics and definitions, impressions, and for anyone who needs this overview, impressions is the number of times that a post has been seen on Facebook. So if you came across something, if Dalelle were to scroll, she'd see something twice, she would be counted as an impression twice. A reach is a unique reach, meaning that's it's brand new people and it's one brand new person. So that's why impressions are always higher because it's people who are seeing the same content again. If you scroll or something like that. Engagement is anything that you like, you comment, you share, you click, things like that. And community size are our likes and our followers. So that is what we did. I would say that we had a pretty good 3 months, but like I said, it's one more activity in the village. And, I hope we can accomplish these numbers again, if not higher, later this year.
Can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Have we had any like Facebook Live events?
No, but that's not in my contract.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, any questions?
Janet, you're muted.
Board member Nolan, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Vice Chair Hurd?
Did you have any specific data on the Small Business Saturday? Remember, the board decided to go more of a social media route on that with some bloggers and things.
I did. So if you scroll down to the next slide, so my total budget was 1,006. Oh, can you go one more? Sorry, Lorena. One more. Okay, yeah. So I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4 bloggers and 1 free post. So these are the stats that we generated from these influencers. So what is it? So we spent a total of $1,060, including my effort and time to put into them. So for Lizzie Flores, on her post, she got 662 likes, 64 comments, and 42 shares. And then 137 people saved her post, which is a great number because that means when someone saves a post, that means they want to come back to it and it interested them enough to save a post. And same with the shares, by the way. And it reached 1,424 unique followers of hers. For SoCal Fun Family, they had 142 likes, but they reached 2,000 people on their post, and they had 119 shares, which is great. Is a great metric. That means 119 people shared that post with others, and they could have potentially shared it with others. So that's a good ripple effect for that one. For Ern's SoCal Foodie, he did multiple stories with us, and he did multiple video posts with them and with us. So he posted for us 3 times. Each got, just under 200 likes on each post, around 30 likes on average per comment, and 15 saved, and trying to do math here, 15 plus 7, 22 shares, and 2, 4, 3, 2, 2, 4. I want to say about just under 6,500 people reached from his efforts on sharing about Instagram. About the Glendora Village. SoCal Moms, they got 62 likes on their post, but they did send an email through their dedicated audience, which means they got a 25% open rate, and their post itself got 1,833 people reached. So the total is, for the influencers that we paid, were 1,415 likes, 211 comments, 183 shares, 173 saved, and 12,499 people reached. And I'm sorry, I did not go through the IG stories reach. IG stories are the ones that are 24 hours. They're left 24 hours. And that cumulative total was 4,336 reach. So what we did on our end was we reposted what these people did so that we could amplify that. And on our end, if you were to see what we reposted, we got 741 likes total, 22 comments, 16 shares, and 19 saves, and a total of 10,513 people unique reaches from our end, and 2,061 views on our Instagram stories. And that's the total we did. We also did an effort. We also just went ahead and ran an ad through Examiner for small business. And that's the recap that we did. So, and then Heidi Liz, she's a pretty good mom blogger. She did our post for free, so she did not send me any insights for that, but she got a pretty good response on that one as well. In terms of the impact, of course, I wouldn't know. That's all up to the businesses to report and see how Small Business Saturday went for them. But in terms of our efforts on awareness, I think we achieved that goal and reaching new audiences with the bloggers that we decided to work with.
Thank you, Luis. Any board discussion or questions? Board Member Jarvis?
No, from me.
Board Member Nolan?
No, nothing.
Vice Chair Hirth?
Jenna, you're muted.
I'm good. Sorry. I'm good.
Jenna? Oh, okay, that's fine. My only comment right now is do we have anything in motion for Valentine's Day?
I just have whatever I'm seeing. We took new photos of Valentine's Day, decor in the village. So I'm waiting for those edits to start ramping up. I know we have just under a week left. So you'll see a bunch of Valentine's Day posts as soon as I get those edits. So yeah.
Thank you very much for all your efforts, and great job. I did see the photographer, and she was here at my shop too. So thank you. I hope she was able to get other people as well. And then at this moment, I request a motion to receive and file the update on the marketing metrics quarterly report for the Glendora Village.
I move to receive and file.
I'll second it.
We have a motion made by Board Member Jarvis, seconded by Board Member Nolan. I will conduct an oral roll call vote. Board Member Jarvis,
Aye.
Board Member Nolan,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hurst.
Aye.
Chair Snyder.
Aye.
Motion carries with 4-1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you. At this moment, I'm gonna invite the board members and staff to make any closing comments. Board Member Jarvis.
Just to reiterate, we have been having problems downtown Glendora with a few kids. We've had multiple police calls out. We had a tagging event that just happened last Friday, where I don't want to say that the minor was arrested, but I'm not sure what happened, with that, but the situation in downtown seems to be escalating, and I think we need to be taking this very seriously because it is impacting our businesses. And I know that, quite a few customers are finding it difficult to come down here when they have to deal with, kids, saying things to them in front of their, young children. And it's just, it's becoming sort of a nuisance that's getting out of control.
Thank you, Board Member Jarvis, and Valerie Velasquez is gonna look into that with the police department. So there's gonna be a follow-up. At this moment, Board Member Klinger is absent. Board Member Nolan,
No comments.
Board Member Vice Chair Hurst.
Mirroring what Board Member Jarvis said, it definitely an issue. Actually, I had an employee taken out by a kid on a skateboard and on one of the sidewalks as she was exiting a store. So we want to just make sure we can get a handle on that. And I know Valerie's on it. Other than that, nope, no other comments.
Thank you so much. And again, welcome, Board Member Nolan. Thank you so much for your service and for all your help. And we really need to get all your new ideas. And for sure, we all have to be more aware of what's happening in the village. And thank you, Valerie Velasquez, for looking into the safety of not only our customers, but our employees and the business owners. So looking forward to get more information regarding that. At this moment, I'm just asking for any comments from the staff.
No comments from me.
No comments.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned at 9:52 a.m. Thank you.